When the land testifies, daffodils, cold snaps, fig trees, and the misalignment of Israel. Peace and clarity to the remnant. Today we are stepping into a teaching that brings together the scriptures, the Book of Jubilees, the words of Jesus, and the testimony of the land itself. The same land patterns our elders watched. The same signs creation still gives today. This message is entitled, When the Land Testifies, Daffodils, Cold Snaps, Fig Trees, and the Misalignment of Israel. Let's begin with something simple but profound. The daffodils. Where I'm from, the daffodils are the first sign that winter is turning. My mother taught me this. She said, when the daffodils appear, winter is almost over. But not quite. There will be a cold snap. And after that cold snap, the season settles. And she was right. The daffodils bloom, then a few days of cold hit. Then the trees leaf out. Then the fruit sets and stays. That is the land pattern. Now listen closely, because this is the same pattern Jesus used when he taught about the fig tree. Jesus approached a fig tree that had leaves, but no early figs. Why? Because the season had turned, but it had not settled. Leaves come before the final cold snap. Fruit comes after the cold snap passes. Jesus wasn't confused. He was revealing a spiritual truth using a land-based pattern. Leaves is equal to appearance of readiness. Fruit is equal to actual readiness. Cold snap is equal to the final test. Stability equal the true season. The fig tree had leaves, the signal, but it had no fruit, the substance, because the season was not yet stable. Now let's bring in what we see with our own fruit trees. Around here, you'll see fruit coming early. Peaches, plums, pears, even figs. But if that fruit comes before the cold snap, you may or may not get anything. The cold snap knocks it off. The early fruit drops. The tree has to start over, except for the fig tree. The fig tree is different. It often produces two crops, an early breeder crop and a later main crop. So even if the early fruit gets knocked off, the fig tree still produces later. This is why Jesus used the fig tree to represent Israel. The fig tree survives misalignment. The fig tree produces even when the season shifts. The fig tree gives a second chance. Now let's bring in the Book of Jubilees. Jubilees says that when Israel is out of alignment, the seasons will shift. The appointed times will wander. The rains will miss their time. The fruit will drop early. The land will groan. The cycles will disturb. This is exactly what we see today. The observers of the land, the ones who watch the daffodils, the barley, the figs, the rains, they begin to count when the land signals. But the timing is off. Not because the observers are wrong, not because the land is broken, but because Israel is out of alignment. The land is faithful. The land is obedient. The land is doing exactly what the Most High designed it to do. But the land responds to the spiritual condition of the covenant people. When Israel is aligned, the land aligns. When Israel is misaligned, the land misaligns. This is why Psalm 82:5 says, all the foundations of the earth are out of course. This is why Jubilees says, the season will disturb. This is why Jesus used the fig tree as a prophetic sign. This is why Paul said creation is groaning. This is why 2 Chronicles 7:14 says, the land must be healed. The land is not just dirt. The land is a covenant witness. So yes, the observers begin to count when the daffodils appear. Yes, they begin to count when the barley reaches Abib. Yes, they begin to count when the fig tree puts forth leaves. But the land signals are distorted because Israel is scattered, asleep, and out of covenant order. The daffodils are early. The cold snaps are irregular. The leaves come before the fruit. The fruit drops before its time. The rains shift. The seasons wobble. This is exactly what Jubilees said would happen. But here's the hope. Jubilees 23 ends with restoration. It says, Israel will awaken. Israel will return. Israel will remember the covenant. Israel will restore the appointed times. The land will heal. The seasons will stabilize. The fruit will return to its proper time. This is the same promise in 2 Chronicles 7:14. The same promise in Deuteronomy 30. The same promise in Ezekiel 36. The same promise in Acts 3:21. The land is waiting for Israel. The land is signaling. The land is groaning. The land is testifying. The land is calling for alignment. So here's the clean truth. The observers begin the count when the land signals. But the land signals are distorted because Israel is out of alignment. When Israel returns to covenant order, the land will return to covenant timing. This is the testimony of Jubilees. This is the testimony of Jesus. This is the testimony of the prophets. This is the testimony of the land. Peace, clarity, and alignment to all who hear.